What's this?
This is a Hugh Beaumont tribute,
That's me.
spotlighting just 10 of his filmmaking accomplishments before Leave It to Beaver.
This sounds like quite an undertaking.
Not really, even though there were more than 50 different parts that he's actually played in throughout his career. We did manage to narrow it down to a list of just 10 things.
Hey, whoever told you to make up a ridiculous list like this?
Well, gee, Dad, you did.
Actually, nobody did, but that's not going to stop us from barging right in.
I'd say you'd have to cut this at least in half.
Okay, Dad.
That's okay with us. These are Zoom's top 5 picks of Hugh Beaumont in filmmaking before Leave It to Beaver. Number 5 is an infomercial. Like many actors, Hugh Beaumont appeared in many commercials that benefited the public, like this one about the atomic bomb.
2 bombs were smoothly and successfully tested at Bikini because the men involved knew what they were handling. Just as successful was Operation Sandstone down at Weehawken, where a trio of weapons was set off. But if they hadn't had that know-how, it could have been the old ball game.
Our number 4 choice is Dangerous Assignment. Hugh Beaumont had a lot of supporting parts throughout his career. For example, he was in one episode of NBC's Dangerous Assignment series. Take a look.
So you're the leg man for this outfit. What does that involve? Well, you name it. The works. Shagging around the world in front of the wise men, scheduling lecture dates, making hotel reservations, making sure they don't run out of toothpaste.
That sounds like quite a job.
I imagine there are easier ways of making a living.
How'd you get into this racket?
Well, I don't know. Sort of stumbled into it, I guess.
He also appeared in The Adventures of Superman and The Lone Ranger. But let's move on to choice number 3, Trader Thorne. This was basically a special put out by the Ford Motor Company, teaching people how to be a successful car salesman. And of course, Hugh Beaumont had the starring role as Joe Thorne. The premise of the film is that everybody's pretty happy with their current car, and so the salesman's job is to get everybody to want to trade up to a new car. But let's get Joe, to explain.
Well, I hope this doesn't sound stuffy, but I try to make the most out of every minute.
Hugh Beaumont stuffy? Give me a break. But when he sells cars, he does like using bird dogs.
Bird dog? Yeah, guys who tip me off when somebody's thinking about buying a car.
And the story goes on and on about how to sell a new car. But let's move on to choice number 2.
I'll be satisfied if you just tell me who's thinking about buying a new car.
When I want to buy a new car, I don't know what to do about it.
I don't think so, Hugh. It's time to move on. Nobody's buying a new car. It's time for choice number 2, Conversation with an Ape. This was actually an episode in the popular TV series Science Fiction Theater, where they told a different story each week. In Conversation with an Ape, Hugh Beaumont is an animal psychologist who just got married. He lives in the Florida Everglades, and his wife hasn't seen that he actually lives and works at his laboratory. And there's a couple of things that he hasn't told her, like, the mosquitoes, the alligators, all the swamp creatures, and one more thing that he probably should have mentioned.
What was that?
Oh, it's a prison truck.
What?
Yeah, you see, there's a penitentiary down the road about 10 miles, just beyond the swamp.
Just beyond the swamp.
And, one more surprise.
Nancy, this is Terry. Terry, this is Nancy, my wife.
Of course, she just doesn't like animals at all. And she even decides that she's not going to be staying here anymore, and she's leaving. And then something unexpected happens, and that's when the story gets interesting. Let's stop there, though. You'll have to go to YouTube and watch that episode for yourself. Right now, it's time for choice number 1, A House in Order. Rose Hills Memorial Park created this promotional film with Hugh Beaumont. However, there's an ironic twist. Remember Jerry Mathers from Leave It to Beaver?
Mr. Theodore Cleaver.
Well, as it turns out, Leave It to Beaver's Jerry Mathers and Hugh Beaumont are actually in this film together before they even knew about Leave It to Beaver. Even though it is a promotional film for Rose Hills Memorial Park, they do have Hugh Beaumont teaching Jerry Mathers a lesson.
I wonder if he could be under your pillow.
Daddy, here it is. I found him.
No, son, you didn't find him. I knew where he was all the time. I put him there this morning.
But you helped me try and find him.
I know. But I was trying to teach you a little lesson.
It's really a pretty cool story that's even posted out there on YouTube if you want to check it out. And so, what do you think of our list?
Wow.
Wow, thank you. Feel free to leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe for more videos from Zoom. All right, Terry.